we do know that within us we have ability to heal ourselves, you know. And as I say, when I put any of these things out, and it's the same today, I don't believe I actually do anything. All I have an ability to do, if you like, and it's a learned ability, because I can teach anyone else how to do it. It's not like people say, when did you realize you have this gift? It's not a gift, it's a learned ability. And the ability is this: to help you get in touch with your own abilities, strengths, so you can overcome the things you want to overcome in your life. You know, so we'll get into it in a minute. I will mute you all when we get into the actual hypnosis part of it. But while we're doing the explanation part of this, obviously, I want to be able to interact with some of you. So look, we're going to be talking about, and I think this is not about weight loss, okay? Obviously, if that is your goal, then you're going to get that from this. But really, this is just about getting our minds set in the right way to keep ourselves in shape through this kind of lockdown we're going through. Because it's so easy to act like we're on holiday, really. You know, it's like it is Easter, and I've got a massive big egg that's I've got bought for me, and I am going to eat it at some point. So the first thing I want all of you to know or to understand, and I want you to do, is to forget about dieting. Just put that out of your mind. What I want you to do, and you will be able to do it by the time we finish today, I want you to be able to do this. I want you to be able to eat what you want, when you want, but only when you're hungry and only until you're full. You know, in England, I know we've got people from all around the world on this call here, but in England, it's our culture to eat everything that's put in front of us. You know, as kids, we're told, you know, your father's worked really hard for that food, finish that plate. You know, I've had some clients who've said their mum or their dad said, if you don't eat it now, you'll have it for breakfast. You know, so it's ingrained in us. You know, when I was a kid, and it shows you how long ago, it was the Biafra problem. And my dad said, you know, eat that up. There are children that are starving in Biafra, you know, that would love that food. Eat it, because you mustn't waste it. And so I want you to understand, because now we're adults, I want you to understand it is okay to leave food. You know, I'm not asking you to do it all the time, but, you know, I had a client once and I was running a group for weight loss. This was down in Kent about maybe 15 years ago. And I said, I'm going to hypnotize you all so that when you've eaten enough, the moment you recognize you've eaten enough, you get up from the table and you take what food's on your plate and you put it in the bin. And a client, one of the ladies there said, well, I think that's despicable to put food in the bin when there are children that are starving. So I know this was a bit, maybe it sounds a bit rude, but I said to her, look, take a photograph of yourself, 4 stone overweight, send it some starving kid in Africa and say, I've sent you this photograph because I want you to know I haven't wasted the food. I said, and see how much better it makes that kid feel. That's not going to make that kid feel one jot better. I said, if you really want to help that kid in Africa, start by putting some food in the bin. After a while, you'll start cooking yourself less food. And if you're saving £20 a month on your food bill, because you're not just cooking too much, and you want to help that kid in Africa, send them the £20 rather than put the food in your mouth because you don't want to waste it. And I know that sounds a bit crude and a bit rude, but it's true. You know, we do. We finish, most of us anyway, and I'm generalising because I know that I'm guilty of it. We tend to finish everything that's put on our plate. What I want you to do by the end of our session today is have the ability to recognise when you've eaten enough and to be able to say, I've eaten enough, and then leave whatever food's on your plate. Now, by being able to do this, you can eat anywhere, Indian restaurants, Chinese restaurants, Italian restaurants, and still not put on weight. At the moment, we're at the mercy of some kid probably in the kitchen in that restaurant who's decided this is how much food you're going to eat today. And because it's our culture to eat it all, they don't know whether you want to put on weight, lose weight, but because we've paid for it, the chances are we're going to eat it all. So I want you to have the understanding and the ability to recognize when your body has swallowed enough food to stay healthy, energized, and well, but at the same time, if you've got any, to lose the excess weight. And we all have the ability to do that. And the feeling of empowerment that you're going to get from being able to do that is going to be great. Because as I said, at the moment, we tend to be at the mercy wherever we live. And I don't know if any of you, I know Alan's he's in Newcastle. I live in East Yorkshire and I come from Kent. But in East Yorkshire, it is the culture here to feed you. You know, they do it out of kindness and love. But, you know, if I go to my mother-in-law's and she says, would you like a cup of tea? And I say, yeah, I'd love a cup of tea. Out comes a cup of tea and a plate of biscuits or a piece of cake. You know, it's never a cup of tea. And because it's there, we tend to eat it. So the ability to say, no, thanks very much is going to be immense. You know, some years ago, I was working with a couple of girls for weight loss. And I'd just been reading a book on Zen Buddhism. Now, apparently, it's their religion that no matter how much food you're served up, you have to leave some for Buddha. And I thought when I read that, that's a great way to lose weight. If every time someone served you up a plate of food, you say, I'm going to leave that portion for Buddha. And, you know, I was talking to these two girls, and the girl came back a week later for a second session, and she said she'd lost 2 kilos. I said, that's incredible. How did you do it? She said, I've been doing the Buddha diet. She said, whenever I go out to eat, I put this much food to one side. She said, and when my friends say, why are you leaving that food? She said, I'm on the Buddha diet. She said, it makes them fall about laughing. But the fact is, you know, just by leaving some food, and she said, I'd still go to when I go to the petrol station and I'm paying for my petrol, I'll still buy my sweets. She said, but now I take a couple out. She said, and I put the rest in the bin for Buddha. And she said she just lost 2 kilos in a week because she was just, before she even started, she was saying, right, I'm going to leave a portion of my food. And I know that sounds a bit funny and a bit silly, but, you know, we can find ways of deciding how we're going to do this. And I know a lot of you here aren't all about weight loss. So what I want you to do, we're going to do, that's why I've asked you to get a piece of paper and a pen. Because for me, to achieve a certain goal, there are 2 things that have to be in place. One, it has to be an exciting goal. You know, when clients come to see me and they say, I want to lose some weight at some point in the future, that's not a good enough goal. And I say, well, you know, how would you like to be? Well, you know, if at 12 stone, I'd feel good. You know, that would be okay. And I say, well, I don't want this to be okay. I want you to put the word realistic out of your mind. Because when it comes to our bodies, there's very little we cannot achieve. And it's really about saying, this I want. You know, when people say to me, I'm fed up with being overweight. And I say, are you fed up enough to forego that extra biscuit? Are you fed up enough to leave a bit of food on your plate? You know, Mike Mandel, he's a fantastic hypnotherapist. And he and his business partner, Chris Thompson, they talk about threshold. It's the point we reach when we've had enough. And it's a tipping point. And I have clients, I know Beryl's a wonderful hypnotherapist. You know, and I know we have clients come to see us. And unless they really want, I'm sure Beryl will agree with me, unless they really want to change, unless they've come to that point in their life where they say, I really want to change my life, then no matter what we can do for them, if they haven't reached that threshold, that's not going to happen. So I want you in a moment to just think, and it can be, you know, it can be a weight gain goal, it can be a weight loss goal, it can be a certain dress size, it can, if it's a man out there and you want a certain amount of body muscle tone, I want you to write down your goal. And I want you to do this before you do that. Put the word realistic out of your head and write down a goal that would be really exciting for you. Just write it down. It can be a weight loss, it can be a dress size. I'll leave it up to you. Or a way you want to look. You know, personally, I don't get on the scales, partly because I'm frightened of it, but also because, you know, I'd rather check the mirror. as a way of seeing where I'm going with my body and my weight. Because we know, you know, if you're women, then, you know, there are certain times in a month where you're holding more fluid and you weigh more. Getting on the scales, you feel depressed. You know, for men, it can be that it's just, well, you know, you've had a bad day, you've had a few beers or whatever. So getting on the scales is not really the best judge. Check the mirror, check your the clothes you're wearing. That for me is a better way of getting to where you want to go. And if it is a weight loss goal, especially for you girls, if it's a weight loss goal, I would suggest that you get an outfit that maybe you haven't worn for a while that you want to get back into, or when this thing's over, buy an outfit that you only fit into when you achieve your goal. And then hang that outfit on the outside of your wardrobe. So every day when you get up, you say, I'm going to be wearing that dress on this time, okay? So the first thing, exciting goal, I'm assuming you've written that down. The next thing, it's got to be time bound. You know, when people say to me, I want to lose some weight at some point in the future, that's not any good because we keep putting it off. So I want to think about a realistic time to achieve that goal. You know, it can be whatever, but make it a kind of a memorable date. You know, if it's 2 months from now and there's a birthday around that time or a holiday or some celebration, write down a memorable date to achieve the goal. I hope you've done that now. Okay, make it realistic. You know, if it's 3 stone, you know, don't say 3 weeks from now. As much as I'd love to think that would happen, you know, it's got to be slightly, got to be kind of realistic. But we're in a situation at the moment where we can, as bad as everything is, we can at this point in time, if we really want to, come out of this isolation in exactly the right shape we want to be. I'm going to show you how to do that anyway. So now you've got an exciting goal and it's time bound. Now I want you to do this. Write down as many reasons as you can think of to achieve that goal, but it must start with I will or I can. So I will feel great. I will have more energy. You know, I will live longer. You know, I'll be able to play with my kids, whatever it is. But as you're doing that, picture yourself on the date you put on that paper, having achieved your physical goal. Do that now for me. And as many as you can. Just keep writing them down. I can or I will. Now, there's something happens in our brain. Something physiologically happens in our brain when we write down our goals. Back in the 1950s, they did this, these psychologists went into Harvard University and they asked the students, back in 1953 or 55 or whatever it was, they asked those students, the graduating students that year, how many had written down their life goals. And 3% of those students had actually written down their life goals. They followed that survey up 20 years later, and the 3% that had written down their life goals had achieved more in financial terms than the other 97% put together. And so we now know that when we're actually writing down our goals, you know, putting them on paper, we're forming new neural pathways in our brain towards achieving that goal. I mean, Beryl's done, I know she's got, I think you've got a degree in psychology. Does that make sense to you, Beryl?
Masters in applied linguistics.
All right, does that make kind of sense? Well, yeah, because it's about what we say to ourselves, is it not? But yeah. committing it to paper is a big thing. And I'm not just for this, but for all your other goals in your life, take the time out to write down your goals. Remember, they must be exciting, they must be time bound. And then state why you want to achieve that in positive terms. I will and I can. Okay, so now you've done that. So I want you in your mind just to commit to your goal. Just do it in your mind. You don't have to say it out loud, but commit to your mind, in your mind, I am going to achieve this goal. And then just sign the bottom of the paper. Now, no one else has to see this. You know, you can put it in your under your pillow. You can send it to Father Christmas. You know, but now you've written it down. Now you've got clear understanding where you're going. Okay. So as I said to you, the first thing I want you to do, forget about dieting. What's going to happen today is I'm going to hypnotize you. so that your body recognizes, your mind and your body recognizes when you've swallowed enough food to stay healthy, energized and well. So that you can, at that point in time, you'll have the ability to say, I've had enough. And as I said to you, the feeling of empowerment from being able to say, I've had enough, that was delicious, but I've eaten enough, it's going to be immense for you. So, hope you've all done that. Okay. Now, one fundamental thing that most of us don't do, and I know I'm guilty of this, we don't drink enough water. You know, we're not talking about liquids, not talking about coffee or soft drinks. We're talking about just water. And most of us don't do it. Our bodies can hardly tell the difference between hunger and thirst. And a lot of times when we think, oh, I'm hungry, it's water our bodies need. So I'm going to ask you, just maybe for the next week, if you're thinking about eating, just have a glass of water first. I'm not talking about a pint of water. I'm talking about having a glass of water first. If you're still hungry after you've drunk that water, then eat something. But you'll probably find 50, 60% of the time, it's water that your body needed. So just think about that, because I know I'm guilty of it. Just don't drink enough water through the day. And so many things happen when you drink that water, you know, from a health point of view. So the other thing is that I want you to think about becoming a connoisseur of the food you eat. You know, most of us, we're busy talking, we're eating, and we haven't even tasted it. If you've cooked a meal for yourself, if someone else has cooked a meal for you, then the least we can do is take the time out to taste it. And most of us don't. Now, two things happen when you chew your food a bit more, you taste your food more. The first thing is that the food starts to break down in your mouth. The saliva in your mouth, I think it's called masticate. It starts to masticate in your mouth. So your digestive system works better. And the second thing is it slows you down a tad. Now, they say that it takes 10 minutes for your stomach to register that you've swallowed something. And the majority of us, and I know I'm guilty of this, we eat so quickly that by the time our stomach registers we've eaten enough, we've already eaten too much. So don't think about slowing down. Don't think about chewing your food more. Think about becoming a connoisseur. You know, I see people and they say they've got an alcohol problem, when in reality they drink maybe, you know, a bottle of wine every night. It's more a habitual problem than an alcohol problem. And I say to them, look, if you're paying £5 for a bottle of wine, spend £10. Become a connoisseur. If you're drinking your wine out of a half-pint goblet, then change it to a crystal wine glass. I doubt any of our parents, and I'm looking at here, maybe some of the younger ones maybe, but I know for me and my parents and my time, I doubt any of our parents would have drunk wine out of a half-pint goblet. I doubt any of our parents would have taken a bottle of wine through to the lounge and drank it while they're watching TV. You know, wine would have been drunk at the table in a proper wine glass, and it would have been savoured. So all I'm asking all of you out there to do is just to enjoy your food even more. Become a connoisseur. You know, for all of my clients who come to see me, I don't care what it's about. I only want more choice for them. I don't want less choice. And when we start dieting, it's less choice. You know, I want you to be able to go to your supermarket and say, I can eat anything I want in here, but I'm going to eat these foods because I want to be blah, blah, blah. And you state, you know, I have people out there losing weight. I have people out there losing 5 stone. When people ask, how are you losing the weight? They say, Freddie said I could eat what I want and still lose weight. You know, I know I'm one of those people. If someone tells me not to do something, that is the worst thing they can say. So I think I wasn't even thinking about it before. Now I'm going to have to do it. You know, that's just how my mind works. I don't know if any of you saw that It was a little TV documentary they did on child psychology. And they put these kids, 5, 6 years old, one at a time in this room. And there was all these toys to play with. But in one cabinet, there was one toy. And they said, you can play with all of these toys in this room, but you mustn't play with that toy in the cabinet. Beryl's smiling because she's seen it, I'm sure. And then they go out the room. And pretty much every one of those kids had to go and touch that toy because they were told they weren't allowed to do it. So, as I said, I want you to understand, you can eat what you want. You can drink what you want, but you are going to become connoisseurs. And I mean that about life as well. We take so many things for granted. You know, and now with this, and I think if anything, with this lockdown, with this isolation, I'm sure it's doing for all of us is making us more aware of those things we took for granted. Our friends, being able to hug people, being able to touch people, being able to, kiss your friends, be with your family. The food that we could eat, which we can't, go to a restaurant, all those things we can't do now. I'm hoping that when we come out of this isolation, we all have a better awareness of the things that are important to us. If you're and I'm sure most of you are locked up indoors now, how much value is that car you've got sitting outside that we may have placed so much value on before? How much value is it to you now? Those designer clothes that we've got, how much value are they now to you? What's all of a sudden the things that seem really important to us no longer hold that? And I want you to look at your food in the same way. Start to look at it as something that's not precious maybe, but something to be enjoyed, something to be savoured. And so becoming a connoisseur is going to help you achieve your physical goals. So, as I said, in a while I'm going to hypnotise you. I'm just going to get you focused on how you want to be. You've got that picture in your mind now. I'm going to hypnotise you. I'm going to ask your unconscious mind, the part of you that is responsible for your eating, weight control and metabolism, to make whatever changes are needed for you to achieve your physical goals, to get you motivated to do whatever exercise you need to do. And I know we can't go to the gym, we can't go swimming, we can't even go for a bike ride for very long. But there are things we can do. And I know, because I'm a human being, the slightest excuse not to exercise, I am going to do it. I was going to the gym, this was a few years ago, I was going to the gym every week, every day. And I went on holiday and I stubbed my toe. It hurt, I couldn't walk properly for a week. But after a week, it was all right. But I never went back to the gym. Just enough excuse not to do it. And this is an excuse for us not to go and do the exercise. But it is only an excuse. I want you all to understand your worth and your value. And so you can start to look after yourself and be as kind to yourself as you would be to the people you love. I often see people come and they have young children, maybe, in their early teens, or grandchildren in early teens. And my client is overweight. And I say to them, if your grandchild, or if your daughter came to see you and they said, Mum or Grandma, I'm overweight, it's making me miserable, it's making me unhealthy, and I feel bad about it. I said, you would take them for a walk. You would show them how to exercise. You would feed them the right food because you love them. And you already know how to do this. It's just about understanding your worth and your value so you can aim this stuff at yourself and treat yourself. And I'm going to say this to all of you. Treat yourself with the same kindness as you treat your clients or your children or your partner or your friends. Just be as kind to yourself and understand your worth. Because that's the other thing for most of us. We don't appreciate our worth. I often see, and I was saying this the other day about something we were working on, I see a lot of mums who maybe in their 40s or 50s, and they come to see me because they're overweight. And The reason they're overweight is because they've spent maybe 20 years of their life making sure that their man is okay, making sure their children are okay. And somewhere along the line, they forget about themselves. They forget about their own value in that equation. So we all now, every now and again, need to have an understanding of our real worth and our real value. Because if if we don't value ourselves, then we're not going to look after ourselves. We're not going to feed ourselves with the right food. We're not going to look after our bodies. You know, your car outside can be replaced. Your body can't be replaced. You know, but we can. And we're living in a time where we can all look towards living to 80, maybe even 90 years old. And why not? You know, I feel I've got things to do here. I've got another book to write at least. You know, I've got 5 grandchildren. They're in their 20s now. I've got one of 17, one of 19, but 3 of them in their 20s. You know, I'd love to see their kids in their 20s. That's going to put me in my 90s. I've still got a 17 and a 19-year-old son. I want to see them in their 30s. It's a good enough reason to drink a bit of water every day. And if that's all I have to do and eat sensibly to make that happen, then I am going to do it. You know, I know, especially my 19-year-old, he's going to need me around till I'm in my 30s. You know, so, you know, it's a reason to look after ourselves, to understand your worth to the people you love and the people that love you. And I'm going to get you to understand that today. And it is the bottom line for everyone that comes to see me who's doing things that are detrimental to their health, whether it's heroin, cocaine, cannabis, smoking, drinking too much, not looking after themselves physically. The bottom line, I want you to understand your worth and your value. Because if you do not understand that, then you are not going to look after yourself. But by the time we finish here today, you will have that understanding. So we're going to get into this in a moment because I know it's Easter Sunday. Happy Easter Sunday to all of you. It's Easter Sunday and it is here in East Yorkshire. You can see that's a picture from my bedroom window, and it is a beautiful day here in East Yorkshire and sun shining, you know, and we can go out in our gardens. I hope you've got a balcony and get a bit of sun on you today if you're here. I know some of you in France and all around the world. No, Henrietta, you're in Brazil, are you not? So I'm sure the sun's shining there. It's probably, mind you, it might be early morning for you there. But anyway, you know, so we're going to get on with this so that you can go and have that beautiful day for yourselves. So if you're ready to achieve your physical goals, if you're ready to let go of any negative, limiting beliefs that have been holding you back, what I'd like to do, if you're ready to achieve your physical goals, to let go of these limitations, let's think about, I mean, there's 35 people here. So let's think about imaginary meet-up and have a sort of pose off. See how good we look in a few weeks' time, okay? So I want you to do this for me. I want you to find a comfortable place where you're safe. You know, you're not going to fall off your chair. And no matter what happens next, that chair will support you, okay? Right, so I want you to do this. And some of you have got into this with me for the last week or so now. So you'll know these words. I want you to take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just allow your eyes to close, but only as quickly as you're ready to make these changes at a physical and psychological level that will allow you to achieve your physical goals. Take that breath in. As you breathe out, allow your eyes to close. That's right. And I want you just for a moment to focus on those tiny muscles around your eyes. Focus on those muscles. And imagine that as you listen to my voice, those muscles are relaxing completely. Imagine they're relaxing so completely now that they just won't work. Imagine that's happening automatically with every word I say. That's right. Imagine those eyes are so relaxed now they just won't work. And imagine there's nothing you can do about that now, just for a while. And when you realize that your eyes are so relaxed they just won't work, you can test them and find them completely locked just for a while. Now, nothing bothers you, nothing affects you, nothing disturbs you. And all that matters now is you, the sound of my voice, and a feeling of freedom. Nothing disturbs you. And all that matters is you, the sound of my voice, and that feeling of freedom. And let that feeling of freedom go down through your body into every muscle, into every nerve, every fibre relaxing now. That's right, with the eyes closed, you can continue to relax. Although at times you may be more aware of some things than you were before. The sounds in the room, the sound of my voice, the comfort of the chair, certain sensations, the beating of your heart, and the thoughts and images that drift into the mind automatically. Just for a moment, see yourself out there on the date that you want to achieve your goal. See yourself out there having achieved your physical goal. And I want you to notice the way you move and the way you breathe. Go and step into that body and feel what it feels like to achieve that goal. The energy, the stamina, the feeling of achievement, the feeling of empowerment. And look back to now and notice the things you did along the way that led to that feeling. The wonderful foods that you ate that led you to that goal. The fun ways of moving that got your heart working for a while. The unconscious mind can allow those changes to occur, while the conscious mind begins to drift off someplace else entirely now. That's right, that gradual letting go. Letting go even of the effort it takes to make the effort that it might take. To tell the exact position of arms, hands, fingers, and even the effort it takes to be aware of which leg seems to relax more quickly or completely than the other may seem to be too much effort to bother making. It's so much easier simply to relax and enjoy that letting go, allowing events to occur in their own time, in your own way, are drifting down, deeper, deeper, deeper down now. And as you drift deeper and deeper, my voice, my words are going to drift with you to become a part of your experience now. And every word I say is going to take you even deeper into that feeling. Remembering that experience of hypnosis you had with me before and how it felt to sit and listen to my voice speaking to you. Remembering the sounds and the words and how it felt as you drifted into that wonderful, deep state of relaxation and bliss. That's right, nothing bothers or affects you, nothing disturbs you. And the deeper you go, the better you're going to feel. The better you feel, the deeper you'll go. 10, 20, 100 times deeper now. And as you drift even deeper, my voice and my words are going to drift with you to become a part of your experience. Everything I say now becomes your reality. And every suggestion I give you, you'll act upon and carry out without hesitation. It's now your reality. Because you have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. And that unconscious mind, the back of the mind, can continue to hear, to understand, and respond to those things I might say without the need for you to do anything at all. It's so much easier for the conscious mind simply to relax and enjoy that letting go, allowing events to occur in their own time, in their own way. As you drift as a mind, and that mind drifts without boundaries, without borders, without limits. Once again, see yourself out there, living your life the way you want to live it, having achieved your physical goal. Notice that feeling of achievement, pride, in knowing that you overcame something for yourself, something that had seemed hard to do, turned out to be surprisingly easy. The unconscious mind can allow those changes to occur, while the conscious mind drifts off someplace else entirely, now. That's right, in your own time, in your own way, aware of events that occur along the way, as the unconscious mind utilises that opportunity to alter your awareness and to continue that learning in whatever way is the right way for you. Learning that feeling of letting go, allowing the unconscious to assume more and more responsibility for guiding, directing awareness as you continue to learn even more than before about your abilities, your capacities to learn as you relax. As you relax and enter into the trance more and more comfortably, more and more effortlessly, more and more completely and deeply than before. And I can wonder whether you're aware that you've drifted deeply into that trance. Because the deeper you go, the better you're going to feel. And the better you feel, the deeper you'll go. And as you drift even deeper, you can use your unconscious mind as a resource you can learn from and really have an experience, one that's satisfactory to you. And all that matters and all that's needed to build a good rapport with the unconscious is to have a line of communication. Sometimes the unconscious communicates by movement. It may be that the eye reflex changes and the eyes flicker automatically, or the head moves slightly to indicate yes, or a muscle twitches involuntarily. It may be that the left hand moves all by itself and starts to feel lighter and lighter and starts to drift up to indicate yes, or the right arm goes even higher. Only the unconscious mind knows which it will use as a yes signal, because the unconscious mind knows more about you than anyone else. And so as you drift deeply into hypnosis, even deeper than before, I'd like your unconscious mind to search for all the things in your life. Pick one thing that is of vital and utmost importance to your confidence, your appearance, your health and fitness, something you'd love to achieve or you'd love to feel. And when the unconscious mind's made that choice, I'd like it to allow that signal to occur so that you understand. That's right. One thing you'd love to achieve, a way you'd love to feel, something that is of vital and utmost importance to your appearance, your energy, your health, your well-being, your confidence. And when it's made that choice, that's right. And now I'd like to ask you, your unconscious mind, hand over those signals to the part of you that is responsible for your eating, your weight control, your metabolism. And when that part's taken full control of those signals, I'd like it to increase those signals so that you understand that it's taken control. That's right, eyes flickering, breathing changing. Even as you become aware of those sensations. And now I'd like to ask that part that's responsible for your eating, weight control, metabolism, to explain to you what it is it's been doing for you, what it's trying to fulfill for you, what any snacking or comfort eating or boredom eating's been about. And when you fully understand what that part has been trying to achieve, trying to fulfill for you, I'd like it to increase those signals so that you understand what it's been doing for you and why you may have put on that weight or why you may not have achieved your physical goals yet. And when you fully understand, I'd like it to increase those signals. And now I'd like to ask that part that's responsible for the eating, weight control, metabolism to go to your creative mind, the part of you that dreams, that has ideas, that makes plans. and allow that wonderful creative mind to run and flow and work and come up with lots of new choices, enjoyable foods that will lead you to your physical goal in an enjoyable way, fun ways of exercising that will allow you to achieve your physical goals. And each time it identifies a new choice, some wonderful foods that will lead you to that goal, fun ways of moving, I'd like it to increase those signals so that you understand that it's making those choices for you. I'd like to reassure that part that runs the eating, weight control, metabolism. It doesn't have to take any of the new choices. It simply has to go in and get lots of new choices. And each time it identifies something that will allow you the freedom from boredom eating, comfort eating, overeating, snacking, I'd like it to achieve those goals. That's right, 10, 20, 100 new choices now. And as that part searches, once again, see yourself out there. It's the summer 2020. It's one of those beautiful, clear blue sky days. You've achieved your physical goals or you're on your way to achieving it. And notice the way you move and the way you breathe. Go and step into that body. Feel what it feels like to achieve that goal. The feeling of empowerment, the feeling of achievement, the feeling of well-being, energy, stamina. Feel it now. And look back to now and notice the wonderful foods you ate along the way that led to that goal. The fun ways of moving that led you to that goal. Step into that body and feel it now. Because now you know where you're going. And now you know how good you're going to feel when you get there. There's not a force on this planet that will keep you from achieving that goal. You have all the strength you need, all the understanding you need to achieve your physical goals. And what's needed now is for you to allow yourself to achieve it in the right way for you. It's right, 10, 20, 100 new choices now. And as that part searches, feel that feeling of freedom. And from today, whenever you sit down for a meal, no matter where you are, who you're with, you're going to enjoy that food even more. And the moment your instinctive, intuitive mind recognizes that you've swallowed enough food to stay healthy, energized, satisfied, and well, but at the same time, achieve your physical goals. The moment that point is reached, before the food even reaches your stomach, the desire to eat any more food off that plate or table will be gone. From today, whenever you sit down for a meal, no matter where you are, what you're doing, who you're with, the moment that your instinctive, intuitive mind recognizes you've swallowed enough food to stay healthy, energized, and well, but at the same time achieve your physical goals, the moment that point is reached, before the food even reaches your stomach, the desire to eat any more food off that plate will be gone. And you'll find yourself putting your knife and fork down. And the feeling of empowerment that you're going to get when that happens is going to be immense. As you take back full control of you, see yourself out there living your life the way you want to live it. That's right, get that picture in your mind. Now I'd like to ask that part that runs the eating, weight control, metabolism, to pick as many new choices, wonderful, tasty foods that will lead you to your physical goal in a fun and enjoyable way, fun ways of exercising that will get your heart working, that will help you achieve your physical goals. And make those choices now. And when it's done that for you, I want it to increase those signals so that you understand. Now I'd like to ask that part to take these new choices and integrate it into your body and your mind at a molecular, cellular, neuron level that will allow you to achieve that goal and do it brilliantly. And when it's done that completely, I'd like it once again to increase those signals so that you understand. That's right. And feel those changes taking place at a molecular, cellular, neuron level. A new way of thinking, a new way of living, a new way of being. The feeling of empowerment as you take back full control of you. To enjoy your life, enjoy your food even more, and still achieve your physical goals. Because from today, the moment you swallowed enough food to stay healthy and energized, before that food even reaches your stomach, the desire to eat any more food off that plate or table will be gone. And the physical ability to swallow any more food off that plate will be gone. And you'll find yourself moving towards your physical goals without even thinking or trying. Once again, I'd like to thank that part that runs the eating, weight control, metabolism for communicating. And I know you're going to remember it thoroughly later on. And so as you drift in that wonderful space and understanding, you already know what you need to do. You already know how to do this at an unconscious level. You know, I don't know whether you know anything about farming or fencing, but especially those electric fences that farmers used to keep horses in, or some farmers used to keep horses in. They stretch these wires around the fields, and through that wire they run a current of electricity, not enough to hurt anyone, just enough to give you a startling zap. And as those horses wander from place to place, they brush against that wire, they feel that sudden sharp jolt of pain, and being really smart and gentle animals, they pretty soon learn where they want to go, where they don't want to venture. And they learn so well, in fact, that after a while, the farmer can turn off the electricity. He can even replace that wire with string, and those horses stay put, fenced in by nothing at all, by the thought that where they are is safe, providing they just stay put. An invisible barrier created by the mind, an invisible boundary. But you know, once one of those horses goes through that fence, all the other horses follow. Now, where to go next? That's the problem everyone faces. Not everyone knows how to solve. No one knows how a horse knows where it's going, but we do know once it's seen the freedom at the bottom of the lane, it's really hard to rein it in. It's so much more fun just to hold on tight and see where that might lead you. You know, that's the pleasure any child can treasure. Even invisible barriers can be jumped over on the way to those goals. Your unconscious mind knows what you can do. Your conscious mind knows it too. Now all that's needed is for you to allow yourself to do it in the right way for you. To let yourself do it in the way that you can. Picture yourself there, having achieved your physical goals. Step into that body. Feel what it feels like to achieve that goal. Because you already have all the resources, all the understanding, all the intelligence you need to achieve that goal. And now you know where you're going, and now you know how good you'll feel when you get there. It's not a force on this planet can stop you from achieving that goal. Go with your unconscious often as you need to know you can and you will achieve that goal. Only when the unconscious mind, the unconscious mind knows and has made those changes at a molecular cellular level and allows the conscious mind to accept the changes made. Because in a moment I'm going to count to 10. Every suggestion I've given you, you'll act upon and carry out without hesitation. It's now your reality. The need to snack, comfort eat, boredom eat, overeat has gone from your body and your mind. From today, whenever you sit down for a meal, the moment your instinctive, intuitive mind recognizes you swallowed enough food to stay healthy, energized and well, but at the same time, achieve your physical goals. The moment that point is reached, the desire to eat any more food off that plate will be gone. And the feeling of empowerment you're going to get is going to be immense. And you will achieve your physical goals. So get ready as I count to 10. On 8, your eyes will open. You're going to feel incredible. A feeling of empowerment, a steely determination, a feeling of freedom and joy. And on 10, that feeling is going to grow stronger day by day. As you work towards your physical goal, free of every limitation, because now you know you can do it. And now it belongs to you. So get ready. 1, feeling absolutely wonderful now. 2, to achieve your physical goal and do it automatically in a fun and enjoyable way. 3, feeling freedom from the need to snack, comfort eat, boredom eat, overeat. Now you're going to enjoy your food even more. 4, feel the force of that energy and steely determination flooding your body and your mind. 5, feeling incredibly alive now. 6, 7, 8, eyes opening, feeling absolutely incredible. 9, 10. Okay. Right. In your own time, in your own way. Well, I hope you enjoyed that experience. Understand, you already have all the strength you need. You already have all the understanding and resources you need to achieve your goals. Keep that picture in your mind of how you want to be. Get through this time of isolation and imagine how it's going to be when we come out of this and we're physically better than when we went into it. This is an opportunity for all of us to take time out for ourselves. I know when I asked you earlier to write down your goals, and I can or I will. And some years ago, I had a client. You're welcome, Miss B. People are just thanking me. So, a client years ago, she said to me, "Well, it sounds very selfish. It's I." And I said, "Well, this is one thing that if you do it for yourself, the people around you are going to benefit because you're going to feel better about yourself. So your whole attitude towards life is going to feel better. You are going to probably live longer for the people you love. And you've got to remember, if you're young and you've got kids, young kids, they're watching you. And if you're a mum and you've got a young girl in your house, she wants to be like you. And they're watching you, whether you like it or not, and they want to be like you. So I think we owe it to ourselves. And I often say to my clients, when they come in and they're smoking cannabis or they're doing cocaine or heroin or drinking too much, I ask them a simple question. Would you want your child doing it? Because if you wouldn't want your child being 2 stone overweight, if you wouldn't want your child living in a certain way, then why would you allow yourself to do that? So all I'm asking you to do, and I believe if we just use our children as a benchmark for how we live our lives. I'm not saying we should be perfect, none of us are. But I'm saying, if we're going to eat rubbish, then ask the question, would I want my kid eating this rubbish because he's bored? Would I want my girl eating this food because she's upset? And if the answer is no, then treat yourself with the same kindness. It's very simple for me. And then we'd all live to 90. Well, most of us. But, just think about your worth and your value. And I hope you understand that now. So I want to thank all of you for coming along today. It's Easter Sunday. And it's, I hope the weather's as nice as it is where you are. As I say, I'm going to be running these every day. Maybe not on Tuesday, because I've now been flooded with some clients who want me to see them on Tuesday, and I can't really avoid doing that. I've got a day of seeing clients online. But pretty much every other day, I'm going to be running something for emotional control, for motivation. So, I'm going to post it to you, let you know what we're doing in advance. So look, all of you, have a beautiful day wherever you are. And let me know how you're getting on. And let's imagine that after this craziness, we're all going to meet up and we're all going to be looking great and we're all going to be feeling great. And that's got a wonderful thought. So just get focused. Imagine I am going to be coming to see you and I'm going to be checking out how you've gone, right? So look, all of you, be happy, be well. I'm sorry about the things today because I hope you could all hear me today. And as I say, wish you well, stay well, eat well, enjoy your food even more, enjoy your life even more, and let's see what we can achieve physically. We owe it to ourselves. So have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you soon. Take care.
You too, Freddie. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Lovely. Thanks, Zen.